Bonjour.
Bonjour. Hello and warm welcome to So French, le podcast from Paris about France, its crazy politics and life à la française. My name is Sara Bertilsson.
And my name is Stefan Vries. And at the end of year, Christmas is around the corner. Here in France and in most other European countries, street decorations are up, gifts are being wrapped, and the dinner tables prepared.
This is my absolute, one of my favorite. I mean, I love summer, of course, but I love Christmas as well. I'm one of those people who have boxes in my basement labeled Christmas. I bring them up beginning of December. I change half of the decorations in my house, and I live in this bubble until the new year. So I really love this time of the year. I don't know, Stefan, what's your feelings about Christmas?
Yeah, I also have a box with all the Christmas decorations, but I marked it with holy shit on it. So, but yeah, no, I'm not a big fan, but I must say I have young kids just like you, and they really adore Christmas. And so, yeah, I have to give in. We have a big Christmas tree this year. We went to London last week to visit all the Christmas decorations. So, I'm starting to like the period. And in general,
Slowly
actually,
the child in yourself, right?
yes, actually. And seasons in general are very nice, of course, that you see that everything change. But of course, it's very nice to also in Amsterdam with all the lights everywhere. It's kind of nice.
Well, good feelings, bad feelings, no matter what, this is the season of decorations, gifts, food, and for many, alcohol and wine.
Yeah.
In France, wine in particular. According to some studies, more than 80% of French adults consider that wine is essential for the end of the year celebrations. But something is brewing, something is changing in the royaume of Bordeaux and Champagne. Alcohol producers are talking about a shift, a real turning point in 2025, because in France, as attached as they may be to alcohol, both culturally and traditionally, French drink less and much less. And since the 1960s,
Really?
since the 1960s, the alcohol consumption in France has dropped by 60%.
Wow.
That is quite a number. And and these past few years, it is going quicker and quicker. Some 17% of the French adults say today that they do not drink alcohol, and that number is even bigger when it comes to women. It's 23, so almost 1 in 4 women say no to alcohol today.
Yes, indeed. And lots of to talk about, especially with one person who knows a lot about this topic and who spotted the trend way ahead of the rest of us. Sara Misaoui. She spotted it probably because she was a journalist first. She's the founder and owner of the alcohol-free bar and wine cellar, alcohol-free wine cellar, Déjà Bu in the center of Paris. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you for taking the time during this probably a very hectic period for you as well.
Bonjour.
Déjà Bu.
Hello.
Bonjour, Sarah. Déjà Bu, very clever name. It's also a play on words, of course. The expression déjà vu in English. We've seen it before. And the French word for drunk, bu. Really good brand. How did you come up with that?
Thank you. And you forgot the question mark because we want to ask people if they have already drank something that is alcohol free. Actually, English native speaker understand more the name Déjà Bu than French speaker. But it was, the idea of something that looks like alcohol, but it's not alcoholic anymore. So we ask people if they have already drank something like that. That's the beginning of the story. And also, we wanted to have the question mark first, and maybe one day we will forget it and just have déjà vu without the question, because it
or
will
maybe
be
with an exclamation mark.
Yes, because for everyone it will be something that naturally they have drink and they are drinking every day.
Great. So why did you come up with this idea then? As Stefan mentioned, you used to work as a journalist. And then you switched career and went into this. Why an alcohol-free bar? How did this idea, how was it born?
Thanks to friends. I don't know if I should thank them or maybe not. Sometimes I'm asking myself the question. It was at an after work. They gave me a gin and tonic without alcohol because I'm not like a huge fan of alcohol. I don't like the taste of alcohol, even if I'm French, even if we have wine and champagne and everything. I don't like the aftertaste of alcohol. So they made me a gin and tonic without alcohol. And for me, it was like a revelation. I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I like the taste. I like that it's a little bit bitter, but there is not the alcohol thing in my mouth that I don't like. So when I discovered the alcohol-free gin, I was like, oh my God, I don't know this. How? I'm a journalist. I know everything, every new trend everywhere, and I don't know alcohol-free drinks. It's not possible. So I started as a journalist. I wanted to do a documentary about alcohol-free drinks because I used to work on TV. And during my research, I saw that there were an alcohol-free shop in London. There were a lot of alcohol-free shops in the US and nothing in France. I was like, oh, it's weird because I think it's very nice, but we cannot buy a bottle in a wine shop because when you ask them, do you have alcohol-free drinks? I can tell you it's not easy to ask the question and then the response is not kind.
I can imagine the answer that you would get, exactly.
Yeah,
It's not
it was.
wine, is probably what they would
Yeah,
say.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't sell soft drinks. It's not my business. What for? What are you looking? Why are you looking for something without alcohol? It's like, okay, thank you. So I was asking myself why, and of course because of the history and everything. The alcohol lobby is very strong in France. The wine culture also. So I understand it was like difficult for me to imagine to find an alcohol-free bottle of something in a wine
Yeah.
cellar. But there were a lot of small brands. You could only buy them online. So it wasn't easy at the beginning because I was like, okay, it's 30 euros, maybe more, and I don't know if I will like it.
Like you mentioned, alcohol is very strong in France. A few countries have their national identity so closely linked to alcohol as France. When you say French to a foreigner, they will immediately imagine a person with a baguette under the arm and a glass of red wine in one hand, right?
Yeah.
So what you do now, and is alcohol-free a break with France as we've always known it?
No, I don't
No?
think so.
Okay.
So I saw there were shops in the UK, in the US. I was like, why not in Paris? Of course, because of everything we think it's important for French people, but today I can say it's been like 3 years for me with Déjà Bu, and more people are looking for alcohol-free drinks because they drink less because of health question and they want to take care of themselves. And for example, with Déjà Bu, we work only with winery people who make wine and also alcohol-free wine. For me, it's like the continuity of the wine. At start, it was a kind of product. It changed. After the Second War, it changed again. It was more like Grand Cru, Bordeaux, something very specific. And then it's a new way of drinking wine and alcohol-free drinks. I think it's like for meat, we used to eat a lot of meat, and now it's okay to not eat meat every time. So French people are less, maybe sometimes less attached to the wine culture than other people in other country. This I think I'm more attached to la baguette, honestly, than
but
wine.
but just because it's interesting with your with Déjà Bu, because I follow you on social media and I see your how you make publicity for your store and your products, and you follow a very traditional concept. I mean, it's a very you really play on the glasses, the bottles, we recognize them, the elegancy, the grace of the also the cocktails or mocktails as you call them. So it's not what some would think when it comes to non-alcohol or alcohol-free products, like this green thing that's served in a mug or in a cup somewhere. You really play on the same imagery as the traditional alcohol wine.
Yeah, because if we forget alcohol, what we want is a nice drink, a nice glass, because we are sharing a special moment. And we don't need alcohol. We just need to be with the people we love and have a nice time and drink something good. If you ask people, they don't need the alcohol in the glass. They just want to drink something very nice, something not too sweet, because most of the time when we think alcohol-free drinks, we think of soda and juice. So it's like kids' drinks. And we are not selling kids' drinks. We really want to show people that you can have the same moments, nice moment, just without the alcohol.
So how has it been received by? Well, we can start with the public. I mean, what do people say when you talk about your business and when they come in?
At first, it wasn't easy. People were asking me, why? Why? What's the point? Why are you doing this? It's not wine. It's not a beer. It's not rum. It's not. Okay, it's not. Yeah, I'm okay with you. It's not the same. It's different, but it's okay. It's okay to have something different. I think at the beginning, it was really difficult because people didn't understand what was the message. But now, some of those people who were like not very nice when we just opened are coming and are customers, and they just thank us to be here. They thank us because we exist, and now they understand. So we need to do a lot of explanation all the time, every day, because people sometimes they think we are against alcohol, but I'm not against alcohol. It's okay. If you want to drink alcohol, go drink alcohol. I'm not here to tell you to not drink alcohol, but sometimes even if it's not for you, maybe for your friend, you don't know, maybe she's sick, maybe she's pregnant, maybe she just don't want to drink today.
Yeah.
You can have something nice for her and not just a sparkling water or Coca-Cola.
Does it also fit in the sober trend? Many people talk about that. Is that something you also notice, that it's really a trend that more and more people are interested in drinking less alcohol or even no alcohol at all?
I'm not really into the sober life. I really think you can drink if you want to drink. It's okay, but just you need to ask yourself something like that. Sorry for my English, but
That's
you need to
perfect.
ask yourself why you want to have this drink. Why do you want to drink wine? Is it because you really want to enjoy your glass of wine? Or is it just because you are used to drink wine every day at 6 and this is maybe a problem, you know? So I think the sober movement is nice. And for a lot of people, it's very nice to join the community of the sober, the new sober, curious, something like that. But I think what people want today is just to be to drink less but better, for sure. They want to have nice drink, and when they drink, good quality drinks, and not just drink just because they are used to drink.
If we look at the trends at the moment, French adults remain still part of the top drinkers in Europe, but the French teenagers and the younger generation, they're actually today part of those who drink the least in Europe. And I was wondering a little bit, how do you see your clients? I mean, what kind of people come to your shop, and do you see more younger, or what is the client?
We have some young clients, but I think it's a little bit expensive for them. And they don't have the culture of a good drink. So it's sometimes difficult for them to understand what's a good drink. When you're young, you're into sugar, and we don't sell sugar. We don't like to sell drinks with a lot of sugar. So we saw that a lot of young people don't drink alcohol, and sometimes we know that because of their parents. They are coming here, and sometimes they're afraid, oh, my kid, he don't want to drink alcohol. So when we have some dinner, we don't know what to do. Do you have something for him? So sometimes it's weird to hear that. Like, it's okay if he doesn't want to
Yeah, in
drink.
most parts
I
of the
think it's
world,
okay.
it's the other way around. I don't want my kid to drink. Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes it's weird. I think it's maybe very, very French. But a lot of our customers are around, I think, 30. They have money, and they take care of themselves. But then we also have people who have more like older people. They don't, they cannot drink anymore. They're like, when I drink just one glass of wine, I don't feel good. I don't feel myself. So can I have something different? Sometimes an alcohol-free wine, but sometimes just something different, because I don't want to drink water when I eat, but the wine I cannot. And don't forget that wine, we said that earlier, had changed. And today, wine is around, I don't know, 14 degrees of alcohol. So it's very strong for some people. They cannot drink more than one glass. Everyone can come here. Everyone is welcome. And we have a lot of like profile of clients. It depends.
Dry January is coming up. It's also more and more popular in France. But the government is not really doing a Dry January, right, Sarah?
Yeah. I think it's because of the wine lobby, but it's okay. I think people, they know. And a lot of like doctor and a lot of like people are they feel free to say I don't drink or I have a drinking problem. So I think we don't need the government for the Dry January. We have like now a small but strong community of people who can share their experience with or without alcohol.
There's been a lot of discussion here in France about the difficulty to say, well, no, thank you, I don't drink, or I don't drink alcohol. Do you feel that is changing, that there is a bigger openness towards these kinds of, to these kinds of decisions that should not be, groundbreaking? It shouldn't be a big deal to say, I don't drink alcohol.
It's still a question for a lot of people. They are coming here and they feel free, at least at Déjà Bu, to say I don't drink alcohol. And sometimes it's hard, especially when it's in your work environment. I think you need to justify all the time. When you're a woman, it's more difficult, because sometimes they ask you if you're pregnant, for example, and you don't know what's going into the life of your colleague. So you should not ask this kind of question. So there are a lot of questions today, a lot of pressure around alcohol, but less and less. And at least today, people are okay to say, I don't drink, and please don't ask me any question. Just I don't drink, or I don't want to drink today, and it's okay. But the pressure is still very strong here, for sure.
We talked a little bit, we mentioned the wine lobbying and the spirit lobbying here in France, very strong, a sector that is employing a lot of people, so there's a lot of money involved. How have you been received by that part? Do they consider your business and what you're doing as a threat? And how has the relationship with the alcohol, wine and spirit business been?
Sometimes it's quite difficult because they think we just here to say to people, don't drink alcohol, but this is not my job, and I'm not here to say to anyone, don't drink alcohol. Really, you do what you want to do. Not my problem. So we need to. It's difficult with the strong, like the heart of the alcohol business. It's sometimes difficult, but today, for example, all of our wines are made from wine domain in France, so we are here to help them, to support them, because they have some difficulties to sell the actual wine with alcohol. So I think we need to work together.
Yes, Sarah, you're now selling non-alcoholic drinks, but you were a journalist before. We just talked about that. I can imagine that maybe one day you will combine the two.
I've already done it. I wrote this book. It's very new, released like 1 month ago. About.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. The name is Le Guide du Sans Alcool. It's about alcohol-free drinks, but all drinks, not only wine, not only spirits, but also, I don't know, we didn't think to talk about kombucha, kefir, tea.
Yes.
A lot of new products are around tea today, so we are abording everything like in the book. Also, I made some interviews because I was a journalist, as you said. So it's very nice, and you have some recipes for alcohol-free cocktail. I don't like the word mocktails, so I prefer to say alcohol-free cocktails. So it's very nice. It's available everywhere, and of course at Déjà Bu, if you want to say hello.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
It also looks very nice. It would be a very nice gift under the Christmas tree this year, I think.
Yes, if you need to buy some gifts, please come. We have a lot of nice bottles also, you can see here. So it's cool.
Okay, good.
Great.
I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
also
Thank you.
to read your book. Maybe it will be published in English one day.
Yeah.
We will put the title
I hope so.
in the show notes and the link to the book. But it looks nice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sara, for taking the time. We know this is a very, very busy time for you. Good luck. I mean, happy holidays, first of all.
Thank you.
And
Merry Christmas.
Good
Even
luck.
if you don't like it,
Merry
Stefan.
Christmas.
I adapt, just
Good
like I
luck
will
with
adapt to
everything, Sara.
non-alcoholic drinks.
Thank
They
you.
sound very, very nice. I will try them. Merci beaucoup,
Merci
Sarah.
à vous. Have a nice day. Bye.
That was a really nice chat we had with Sara. This trend, though, being encouraged by many, but it's not a trend. The sober trend is not appreciated by many. We touched upon it a little bit. The wine and spirit producers in France, they have seen their revenues drop significantly over these past years. And I've come across quite a few when I was researching this episode of producers who are really seeing that this is also an opportunity and a way of changing their products, a little bit like Sara was talking about, of how do we move on, how do we take our products to the next level. So there are many that are working with those issues. But then, of course, as always, you have those maybe with the most to lose, I don't know, I'm guessing here, but who really try to stop this, or at least slow down its pace. And those are, of course, the wine lobbyists. There are many in France. They're strong, to say the least. And many would say that with this rule under Emmanuel Macron, they're having quite a good time because they're getting their needs taken care of, so to speak.
Yes, absolutely. You only have to look up the images of the annual Salon de Agriculture, the famous agricultural fair every year. Every president goes there at least a day to show that he's attached to the values of France, to the food, but also absolutely to the wine. And I can imagine that the whole sector that is so powerful in France is afraid, of course, for the future and tries to secure that they also will earn money in the future. But at the other side, the French government is really on the hands of the wine lobbyists. If you look at the numbers, it's quite astonishing. 49,000 people die every year in France alone because of alcoholism. It's the second cause of death in the country. And of course, you have many secondary effects, social costs, of course, but also domestic violence, depression, unemployment, you name it. But it doesn't really seem to bother the French government, who's still defending French wine and the tradition of having an apéro, a drink day.
Yeah, and we were talking about the Dry January
Yeah.
campaign here in France a couple of years ago when, it's still the case, the French government is not officially supporting this campaign because, when they've been approached by doctors and campaigners, they say it's not for the government to tell people what to do. And Emmanuel Macron himself has been saying that he drinks wine twice a day, and it's part of the government is really linking the alcohol culture to the French culture, and that's saying that it would be some kind of inseparable entity that you could not then have France without its wine, and that's it's quite stunning, especially when you, as you mentioned, these numbers that are incredible, and there are proof of how this very powerful lobbying is having an impact on life. I mean, for example, in France, wine is much less taxed than, for example, other products. And the reason for this is because the wine lobbyists have managed to say that, this is such an important part of French economy. It stands for many jobs. It's 2%, I think, of the workforce in France. So there are many jobs involved. And they're saying if we start taxing wine more heavily and, use that tax as a way of trying to get people to drink less, because quite often that's what you do. Like with cigarettes, you raise the tax on cigarettes and you're going to immediately have an effect on the number of smokers. That would be the same thing with alcohol and with wine, but they don't want that. So there's a real, you're protecting the producers and the economy, and then you must say at the expense of the health of the French.
Yeah,
people.
of course. And you just mentioned this 2% of the jobs, but it's only 1.4% of French GDP. So it's not a very productive sector either. It's better to invest in other sectors. But yeah, we just spoke to Sara, a young entrepreneur. She also told us that many young people come into a shop. And that is, of course, not the image of the political elite. That is much older generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Very traditional.
It's a generation. Yes, exactly. So I think that's really we once again see the gap between the French society as it evolves and as it continues changing, and you have a political class who still remains incredibly traditional and holds on to these values. And as Sara said, no one today, very few says they should do, stops anyone from drinking alcohol, but to have the alternative can be nice, because also most women, or many women at least, at one point in their life, they will be pregnant. That we all agree that it's not a good moment to drink alcohol. So to have alternatives is definitely something that is needed and, appreciated by many.
Absolutely. And from one business to another, from lobbyists to the publicity marketing, and a wolf that goes viral and veggie. What's that about, Sara?
Yeah, this is not something that I would say we would normally do in this podcast, and to talk about a TV commercial. But it is something that has turned into such a phenomena here in France, and I would say elsewhere, I get to that, that I think it's worth taking a few minutes to discuss this. This story actually says quite a lot about quite a few things in French society at the moment. So I'm going to roll back on this, what this is all about. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in my house, walking around, making dinner, I don't know what, and suddenly I heard something. My TV was on, and I stopped in my tracks. And it was this animated movie on TV, and everything changed. It was the sound changed, the tone changed, and I was watching it. It's like I didn't know what it was. Is this a short movie? Is it a commercial? Is it something else? And I stood there and I watched the whole thing, and it lasted for more than 2 minutes. Turned out to be a TV commercial for a for a supermarket chain. But what's interesting is this: it's an animated movie. The story, the plot is there's a wolf in the forest. He's feared by everyone, and he decides to collect vegetables and cook a dinner for himself. He does have fish in it, I must say. As a vegetarian, I mean, it's not vegetarian 100%, but well, that's a detail. But to cook this meal, a vegetarian meal, and that allows him then. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling you the end of this movie now for you. It allows him at the end to sit at the table with the other animals in the forest together and, enjoy the moment. And this might sound ridiculous, but it really moved me. And apparently I'm not the only one. This has had like a viral effect. The video has now been it's been streamed 1 billion times.
Wow.
Which is crazy. The soundtrack, which is a 50-year-old song from like a French kitsch, now late crooner singer Claude François.
It's one of my heroes, one of my French heroes.
Oh, we'll get to that in a later episode, I think. So this song, I mean, it exploded on streaming services. Over the first few days that this video was uploaded. So, and it's now been shared, cross-border sharing with people watching it, and in other European countries. In the UK, the Daily Mail had said that this commercial is the best commercial of the whole year of 2025. There are sketch artists in Asia who are now drawing this wolf. So yeah, it's turning into an international phenomena, and it is something that people really are talking about here in France at the moment.
So why do you think this is so successful then?
But the incredible thing and why it's interesting, I mean, it's because it's a story. It's a new way of storytelling. The storytelling, both the short movie itself, which is modern. We were talking about not drinking alcohol, having alternatives. In France for Christmas, there's a lot of meat and a lot of goose liver and things like that, and to do a commercial for a supermarket using only vegetables and saying we should eat more vegetables, and that is interesting. The whole so the storytelling, and just to use the short movie format for a commercial is very interesting, and how they use sound, etc. It's very well done. There's also the storytelling around the production, because what this short movie, animated movie it's made the traditional way by a company in the south of France. It uses for the voices real actors. So the company put in a lot of money. I think it was about 100 people who worked on this project,
Wow.
but they decided not to do it with AI, as of most of these kinds of animations are today. So there was a real statement in how it was done. This also, of course, builds to the storytelling. So you have a 2-layer or several layers of storytelling in this, and I find it very interesting, and honestly, a genius. I mean, it's incredible. You watch it and I had goosebumps. I might be ridiculous, but I did. It forces us to look at maybe the question a little bit how we see these traditions in general, because, as I said, goose liver, steaks, meat at the table. Is that what Christmas is really about? And even for the wolf, he realizes it. Why are we? Well, it's about being together. It's about having a good moment. So, yeah, that was my feel good moment of the week. It's a TV commercial that might be a bit sad in one sense, but it's really turned into phenomena. So we'll see how far it's going to go. Apparently there are translations in the making at the moment for other countries. So there's a Polish and a Portuguese translation coming out pretty soon.
Well, I'm very curious to watch it. We'll put, of course, a link to the commercial in our show notes. I think that was the commercial break then, Sarah.
Yeah, we didn't even get paid for this. So, we're making us without getting paid, but,
the things we do for our listeners here at So French. I assume this is the time to wrap up this edition of So French. Of course, you can find all our episodes where you usually get your episodes on all the famous podcast platforms. And if you don't want to miss any of our shows, please make sure to follow us.
You can also find us on Instagram. You just search for So French Show. And please share this episode with your friends and family. And send us an email. Our address is bonjour@sofrench.show. The So French podcast is produced and presented by me, Sara Bertilsson.
And by me, Stefan Vries. And this podcast's original music is made by Laurent Blot. Merci, Laurent. We wish you all an excellent end of the year. Happy holidays. And we see you next year again. It's already in 2 weeks with a new episode. Until then, take care. Au revoir.
Au revoir.